You know, I struggled this year actually.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat pops at all. I just don't know. I struggled to eat. Usually, like, I forced myself, but I couldn't even force myself because as soon as you have water and a bit of fruit, I was like, oh, I'm stuffed. There's no room. I was like crying. You know, when you're frustrated because you're hungry. I was crying. Let me eat something, please. I just want some food. This won't happen. Then swear when you wake it up. I don't know how people eat pronto in this country. If you're not doing
exercise, no
activity,
if you're not sweating, then eating pronto for Rosa closing is not a good idea.
My brother, like I said, was eating 2 pronto every morning. He goes, there's no point keeping Rosa. You can't eat pronto. He goes, Mazati, she's on.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala तुसां सारें की अपने ज़मान विच रखे हर मुश्किल तू बचाई कर रखे माड़े बच्चियों तुसां वास्ते बावे दी दुआएं
The Ramzan days were quicker, whereas the Eid day was very slow. For me, I don't know about you.
I had a very busy day.
Yeah.
MashaAllah, a lot of people come over than I didn't get time to go to anyone's house, but then later on, I think like 9 o'clock at night, I think just after you guys were coming or going.
Yeah.
Did I see my uncle before you guys?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I was about to visit till about 11 o'clock. Actually, I couldn't even tell about the day. Kids enjoyed it because I was saying bouncy castles, kids and bouncy castles. Especially my younger one.
They love it.
She started from 9 o'clock in the morning. She did a full shift. 8 o'clock in the morning, take a start crying. She goes, no, don't take my bouncy castle. After 12 hours, I'm like, you're not tired? She goes, no, I want the bouncy castle. I took it to next season. She goes, no, I want it now. Yeah, so nieces come over, nephews come over.
See, that's a rahmat in it. It's a sign of rahmat.
Yeah, because
the house is full in it.
It's a blessing and it's a good feeling as well, Pops, you know, when you're having people coming and going. It's rahmat, isn't it? Plus, it's a blessing. It's a big blessing when people come to your house. Because I remember I had one Eid, the first time I was on my own.
Okay.
With family. Nobody come. I had loads of food. Because Dad decided to go to Pakistan. So I thought, okay, Dad's not going to be here. Everybody's going to come to my house, innit? So I was preparing myself. I forgot to tell people to make sure to come to my house. They're like, I to eat at our own house. I bought all this food. There's nobody here. I was scratching my head. This was a disaster. Yeah, that'd be God's plan.
How many days did it take you to finish the food then?
A week. Can you imagine? Eat travel and tikke.
Every day.
Every single bloody day.
Breakfast tikke.
Gosht. Make a week. Gosht, salad, roti. Eat sweet rice. Over. Yeah, right, carry on, Pops. that food, I even give it out to the street as well. It still didn't finish for a week. Just kept going.
You see, it's a barakat, you know where there's rahmat and barakat, it never finishes.
MashaAllah, yeah.
So, Eid was, mashallah, blessed. You fed all the street.
Yeah, MashaAllah, this time around.
Achha.
Everyone's like, why are you ordering so much
food?
You
see, because it's Ramzan and you've kept rosé, your appetite goes down.
Yeah. Not for me, it doesn't personally. Not for either. Well, it does during the rosé. You know, I struggled this year actually.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat pops at all. I just don't know. I struggled to eat. Usually, like, I forced myself, but I couldn't even force myself because as soon as you have water and a bit of fruit, I was like, oh, I'm stuffed. There's no room. I was like crying. You know, when you're frustrated because you're hungry. I was crying. Let me eat something, please. I just want some food. This won't happen. Then swear when you wake it up. I don't know how people eat pronto in this country. If you're not doing
exercise, no
activity.
If you're not sweating, then eating pronto for Rosa closing is not a good idea.
My brother, like I said, was eating 2 pronto every morning. He goes, there's no point keeping Rosa. You can't eat pronto. He goes, Mazati, she's on.
Because what he does is he cleans the stables, he feeds the horses, and that work itself digests the protein.
I was having like a glass of milk. That's all I could have.
Wow.
Because it was too difficult to have. It's hard to just get a routine in the house. And then obviously you're working in between, and then before you know it, also much them very quick this year. Very quick.
Alhamdulillah.
Signs of the end times.
That is one of the signs that, you know, days will go really fast in it.
Which they did. Yeah, this rosé was mashallah, they went fast. I don't know if it's because we were raising money for the place next door, but it wasn't. For me, this year didn't feel normal. I didn't feel it was normal at all. How quickly they went. It literally you blinked and it was gone.
Yeah, it was.
I just imagine the poor people leading up to the Rosé that passed away.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy statistic yesterday or the day before. There's been over couple of hundred funerals in a week in Bradford alone.
Yeah, because in the month of Ramadan, a person is happy that they're enjoying Rosé, but they don't know if they're going to wake up. And that's what's happened. We've lost a lot of brothers and sisters in the month of Ramadan, and we should understand that one day we're going to be dead.
Well, unfortunately, we put that in the back of our mind, Pops, isn't it? We think we're here forever.
You see, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did say that there's going to come a time where the fear of death and the love for dunya.
Yeah. It was that, they said that, that in your heart you should have death, and in your pocket you should have the dunya in it.
Yeah.
And we've swapped it around. So in our heart now we have dunya, and in our pocket we have death in it.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's the hadith. I'm sure it's that. And that's because that was the time when they were telling the Sahaba around the time going to come where the Muslim man will be like oceans of them. But the man's going to be very weak, like they'll be getting attacked and killed as people are inviting you to distant hand for food. Yeah, that famous hadith. Mm-hmm. And then when the Sahaba Ikrams got up and he was really upset that we're going to be so few in number that we can't protect ourselves. The Prophet said, no, you're going to be in the billions, like the oceans. But yeah, our man levels are going to become so weak.
You see, that's the thing, innit? People don't realise when the person's in man level. Look, there's two things in it. There's one the ruh inside, and there's one the body in it.
Yeah.
The body's feed is different, but the ruh's feed makes the iman. You know, when your stomach is full, yeah, the same way spiritually, if your iman levels are high, your spirit's going to release positivity all the way around. But when your imans are low, then negativity takes over. And look at those times when Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, can you imagine? Nabi Pak sat there with his Sahabas telling them about these times. So many 100 years ago. And now look at it. Look at the Islamic world in it. Look at the world itself. Amarji, you won't believe it, what happened last week.
Last week?
All the scholars got together in Pakistan.
This is last week?
This is last week.
So today's date is the 15th of April 25.
Yeah. So beginning of this week, yeah, the scholars got together. They released a fatwa.
Okay.
So not the small scholars. I mean the scholars which are at the higher level of Pakistan.
Right.
They got together, released a fatwa.
What's the fatwa?
The fatwa was that based on the activities happening in Palestine, it is now wajib, a fard upon all Muslims that jihad is compulsory. Meaning it is on.
Okay.
Now how it works under the Islamic ruling is the people around Palestine, the neighbours, it is fard for them first.
Right.
Then the ones as it goes on further away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you won't believe what's happened. The scholars have done a launch from there.
Right.
Then Egypt and the Middle East scholars have turned around and says, oh no, don't listen to them.
Okay.
Because it lead to fitna. So now they're talking about the time when Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that there's going to be oceans and oceans of souls being taken in it.
Right.
The hadith that you mentioned.
Okay.
See? So now the Egypt ones are saying, okay, no, that lead to fitna. See? And the Pakistani Maulvis are saying, okay, you know, further on, yeah, now Muslims get together. And today, I seen a clip of a prominent politician who's a wakil as well, lawyer.
In Pakistan?
Yeah, that Khan guy for Imran Khan, I don't know what he's called.
Okay.
The one that came out with that dialogue of Kaskian in Vardagian. Can you remember what is he called?
Okay.
He turned round and said, he goes, why doesn't the Mulvi go first in it?
Right.
Yeah. And he started talking about his 8 crore BMW in it.
The Mulvi do.
Yeah. So in effect, what the Mulvis then turned around and said, okay, look, our job's to tell you where we are in it. It is the Ummat's job to activate. Yeah. And the politicians on the other side, yeah, are in their own world, yeah. And Sipa Salar, who are the army, take, वो बेचारे अमेरिका बैठे हैं. Yeah. So in this scenario, when you look at it all, it reminds you of exactly that hadith that you've said, that the ummah is going to be so large that they will be more in love with the dunya and they'll fear death to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah. That will be suffering. And this is what's happening. And if you go back, Amr, if you go back further in time, at the time when the brothers in Palestine, yeah, when the Israeli came.
But you know, part of that hadith is so strong.
Yeah.
The second part of that hadith, you know, what Prophet says, it goes that the Muslims are going to be offered on a dastarkhan in it, like their food. What does food do when it's being cooked? It doesn't offer a fight.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, you're totally right. And that hadith says there'll be a bird that'll be flying, and it'll fly for so long it'll get tired and fall on a dead body.
Look at that video that I seen the other day where the truck has took a long grave, a massive grave, probably don't know how many miles long. Literally blue bags, bodies they're just throwing in, and they covered it. No one's doing nothing. How many Muslims are there? Almost 2 billion people in the world. We make up a third of the population. Not one person has got the jurt. They're so scared of using the J word. They're doing it in such a way. They're so scared to get done for terrorism or so and so.
Look, you know what? You've got to be realistic in it. The dynamics around the world is changing. This fitna had started in 2017 in my calculation. For 2 years, 17 and 18, the goals were set. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24, 23 and 24 to 27 is the time when Muslims are going to get slaughtered, brother. Okay. And at the end of 27 December, 28, as soon as it starts, the Ummah will unite. Okay. And how they're going to play
27, 28, you think they're going to unite?
No, 28 beginning they're going to unite. The reason being is because what's happening is they're using the world as an arena to act out to see where it leads to. What you're seeing in America at the moment is the way how Trump has taken on China, because China is the biggest enemy in it.
Right.
And why China is the biggest enemy is because the politicians in America, UK, all these countries, what they've done is they've sold out the middle class people.
Okay.
By using cheap labor to make a higher profit, to earn wealth for themselves in it. We have textiles, we have businesses, everything's been taken abroad in it for cheap labor. Now the issue is, look at China, the people are home, well off, they've got work. Yeah. In reality, we can't even produce our own potatoes in England.
We've got the perfect weather for it.
Yeah, we've got the perfect weather. So in reality, the biggest and the biggest problem America has is China. But Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that the biggest villain in the world that will be creating destruction will become bankrupt. They'll fight amongst themselves and then they'll divide, and the dying Muslim Ummah will come to a little flame. You know, like you go to these kebab guys that are making kebabs, and they have that woodens.
Yeah. In
that wooden, you have that. You can see a bit of fire in it.
Fire, yeah.
It'll come to that stage in it, and then Allah will revive it again. Now, it's going to get to the stage where Israel is going to keep on doing zulm.
There's not been a ceasefire. They said, "Oh, there's been a ceasefire."
No,
I've not seen no
they're not
ceasefire.
going to stop it. It's just refueling. Look, they have a mission. They're on their track. Yeah, they started it off by using Hamas. Then they're going to go into other areas, Syria. And 15th of April, this day today, going forward, and time will tell. They'll start with Iran. It'll get heavy, and it will not stop.
They're going to start fighting Iran.
Yeah, because on one side, what they've done is, the base in Afghanistan.
Right.
It was in the Bagra base, whatever, where they dropped everything and ran off.
Okay.
They've taken control of it again.
Who was?
America has.
Have they?
Yeah, they have.
I've not heard that anyway.
You will hear about it. They've taken control of that base to make the impact of bombarding Iran, because if you look at it, America is right. Iran is no threat for America. But the only thing is the bases around the Middle East where America's army sat are at risk. But the man in America is at no risk. What can Iran do? Iran will bombard the bases in it.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've secretly taken over the base in Afghanistan, and then you see an hadith where Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said is that he'll feel a soft air, because what the enemies of Deen are doing, they're starting a war in it.
Okay.
They have to start it, and what they're doing is they're starting it. And look at the state of the Ummah. On one side, every Muslim around the world feels it. But the British Muslim in the UK, they're in a different test. Their test is more different. Because in reality, if you think about it, we don't really have a Muslim Islamic structure in UK, do we?
No.
The Islamic structure that Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam left was that in every town, in the communities, there'd be small masjids.
Okay.
They read their 5 salahs in those local masjids.
Okay.
And one day, on a Jummah, they'll all get together at the main Jamia Masjid.
Right.
The ruling is that the government would identify and recognize the Jamia Masjid.
Right.
And say that is where you're going to read your Jummah.
Okay.
Now let's look at it in logistic terms. Let's take Halifax or Bradford. We'll take Bradford because you understand we're from Bradford. Just imagine every single masjid had one masjid that they would all go and read their Jummah in.
Right.
On that day, when they read Jummah, what will happen is brothers from each area would get together in it.
Right.
And they'll talk and discuss in it. Yeah. A brother will say, brother in BD3 this happened, BD7 this happened, brother this happened in BD9. Yeah. Jamia Masjid would have an intel team that will gather all that information and speak to the other Jamia in Sheffield, Halifax, and the network will be there in it.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Right.
2 days ago, somewhere in Watford, there was a cemetery of kids, which graves, people have gone and smashed up all the boards of the graves in it.
Where was that?
In Watford, I think, 2 days
Yeah,
ago.
I've seen that.
Now, had there been, if the scholars in the UK had followed the Dini line, then what would happen is the Watford Masjid would notify the Jamia Masjid. Jamia Masjid would tell every Jamia Masjid, and there'd be one voice that would make a statement. Is that powerful? Or is it where every masjid you to your own? What is it? And every masjid, you know what, masjids are growing because Jummah's chanda is high, and they're all making it into Jamias. When the ruling of Deen, so if you look at it, give it another 5 years, or 2 years, 3 years, when the same things are happening in Palestine, Pakistan's going through the same turmoil. Don't think Pakistan is on a good position. Pakistan's army thinks they're politicians. The politicians thinks that they're spokespeople. Yeah. And the Molvi think, so they've all got their seats mixed up in it. It's like a shepherd, yeah, is thinking he's the sheep, and the sheep is thinking he's the guard dog, and the guard dog thinks he's the sheep.
Everybody's confused.
Everybody's confused, isn't it? What's going to happen, brother? What do you think?
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good, is it?
It's hard to watch pops, I'll be honest with you.
It's hard.
Some of the videos that you
painful.
see, you can't watch it. And then you get frustrated within yourself, like, we can't do anything.
See, in reality, this isn't a Muslim issue, this is a humanity issue.
Mm.
And humanity being explained in a way where the villain feels like he's the human in it.
I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but they explained it pretty good, the situation with Palestine and Israel. It goes like a stranger coming into your house, locking himself into your bathroom and saying, you're oppressing me. That was beautifully explained. Because it's basically the dummy's guide to Israel and Palestine conflict. If somebody comes into your house, locks himself into your bathroom and says, you're oppressing me.
It's my right to be...
Yeah, but if I seen something the other day, which the fella was spot on. He goes, look, if your land, you claim that's your promised land, isn't it? Right? If that's your promised land, if it was so good, why did you leave it in the first place? So, Takra Kai Kaita, you went to all these other countries, you got battered and killed everywhere you went, and now you come back to your promised land. Why did you stay there in the first place? It was so good. It was right, innit?
You know what? Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that there's going to be three forces in it. There's going to be one that will fight till the day of judgment. Those are the Palestinian people in it. And if you think about it, look at them, kids being slaughtered, but they're still coming out and standing and saying, you know what? There was another video that came on, very powerful. They turned down and says, saying Allah Hafiz to the Muslim Ummah. If that didn't wake the kings around Middle East, it's not going to do anything. And in reality, if you think about it, they've got more love for Dunyadari. They're all looking at expanding, yeah. Even here, look at it. Amar, just imagine you're crying, saying, Papa, someone's nicked my clothes, I've gone into the bathroom. Yeah. And I come running with chawal and biryani in it.
Chawal can't be fine.
Yeah. The Palestinian people are asking for security and safety in it. They had that, you know them. Amar, they had all that.
Did they?
And they've lost it.
When did they have that?
They had it at the time when they took money to take on the Jews to come to live there. It was a thriving country.
Right.
They had every structure that you could think of.
Okay.
So what this did was, when they migrated there, they took compensation to allow them to stay there in.
Okay.
So wherever money comes, fitna begins in it.
Okay.
So what they did was they gave them a little area and said, this is your area.
Right.
And what they did was they started expanding their area, making their rules. And then what they've done is over 50, 60 years, yeah, or 40, 50 years, or how many it is, what they've done is they've
45, 47.
Yeah, they've taken away their policing. Look, they try and take away their civil.
Take away the humanity, haven't they?
Yeah.
Taking away the civil rights, there's nothing.
It's like just imagine now. We've got police system in the UK. We've got politicians. We've got freedom of speech. We've got everything. Yeah. Just imagine Russia comes and takes over in and starts applying their law upon the British Muslims in it, or British people in it.
Okay.
And then the law becomes so high, one day we turn around and say, no, we wanted our own system, we had an army, and they've lost it all. Now, do you honestly think the Saudi Arabia is going to get involved when it's a party to the offence?
Nobody's getting involved.
or Egypt or any countries, because they read Arabic, they know what's going to happen. There's going to be 1/3 of the Muslim Ummah being slaughtered there. They're going to come to the door of Makkah and Medina, and it's only going to be in economy, in a business world. It's going to become very developed, modernized. And in 2017, when the Saudi king took over, he made it clear then that, you know what, we've got an action plan and we're going to get to the stage where the bee is. They're trying to modernize their area, and what better to have a partner is Israel. All we can say is that the brothers and sisters that live in England, chup chute swere jao, taxi karne taxi karo, shami hotel kholne hotel karo, ram nal apni zindagi guzaro. You can't do nothing. That is the reality of the truth.
If you like this video, please follow and subscribe. Watch us on YouTube at Restgardens. Jazakallah khair. Khuda Hafiz ta Allah sone ne wale.